Welcome back. You're watching the last lap of Business Morning, the midweek edition of the program on Channels Television. This breaking news at this time is that the impasse between the President, Goodluck Jonathan, and the National Assembly has been resolved. Now, to resume hearing of the case, both parties submitted to the court that they have met as directed by the court and have agreed to make concessions that are mutually beneficial. With the new development, the Supreme Court panel, led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, adjourned to 4 p.m. for the report of the settlement to be presented before the court. Parties also agreed to withdraw all pending applications before the court. The Attorney General of the Federation had approached the court to stop the National Assembly from vetoing the refusal of the President from assenting to the Fourth Amendment of the 1999 Constitution. It is a story that we'll continue to track here on Channels Television. But again, a breaking news story at this time is that the impasse between President Goodluck Jonathan and the National Assembly has been resolved. At a resumed hearing of the case, both parties submitted to the court that have met as directed and have agreed to make concessions that are mutually beneficial. Well, the party also agreed to withdraw all pending applications before the court. Now, with the new development, the Supreme Court panel, led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, adjourned to 4 p.m. for the report of the settlement to be presented. Now, the Attorney General of the Federation had approached the court to stop the National Assembly from vetoing the refusal of the President from assenting to the Fourth Amendment of the 1999 Constitution. Of course, you know you can track the story on our website, channelstv.com, or if you're on Twitter, you can log on. You can actually track it on @channelstv. Well, the AFDB meeting continues today in Abidjan, the Côte d'Ivoire capital, and Boso Mofai, Channel's business news editor, is actually part of the delegates at that meeting. He joins me now. Thank you so much for joining me on the program. Well, let's start with kind of highlights from yesterday's session. One of the key focus for one of the sessions yesterday was deepening Africa's domestic bond market. How achievable is this?
I think yesterday we spoke about the single African market and if that is possible in our lifetime. But apart from this a single market for Africa, I think some of the other issues has to do part of the highlights of financing Africa's transformation. Where does it come from? Then there were discussions about climate change. How would this be financed? I have an interview scheduled for with the head of climate change and energy within the African Development Bank, Alex Rugumba, and that will shed more light on that particular topic. You need to finance climate change in Africa. It's become an economic issue, even though carbon footprint in Africa is far much smaller than in developed economies. However, wrapping up the second day, Tuesday, was the Africa's bond market, deepening the domestic bond market in Africa. What is the African Development Bank doing? What has been done? What has been done across various governments, nationals and subnationals in Africa? Kenya talking about looking for domestic funding through the capital market to fund the newly created counties, or what we call local government in Kenya. And there were discussions about how to get more indices, bond indices out for a number of African countries to get into more coverage. But you know, some of the bonds issued by some African countries are small in size. For example, Nigeria's $1 billion AFDB Niger bond issued by the AFDB is not included in the Bloomberg bond index because the size is just about $1 billion, and Bloomberg index captures anything around $50 billion. So within the continent, the big boy within that space is South Africa, of course. The city of Johannesburg alone is big ticket within their space. Alex.
Well, Bosin, what are we going to be expecting from today? I know you're going to continue to have conversations with some of the delegates there with regards maybe Nigeria listing another bond as well. But what should we be expecting from the meetings today? Don't forget tomorrow we're actually going to be having the presidential elections, and that's going to be another very keenly anticipated session.
Yeah, I think today will be focusing on a number of issues. There is Africa-India partnership, which is a new vision. As we speak now, there's a trade finance in Africa. What is next? But very important session in about an hour from now is the issue of agribusiness in Africa and how to get youth employment sorted out through agribusiness. That is one very important discussion that will be on today. But of course, you know, a lot of meetings going on with regards to the who succeeds President Donald Kaberuka tomorrow here at the AFDB. But later today, you'll be very interested to know what happens on Africa's stock exchanges. That would be a big one. Of course, the dinner is about the Africa Bankers Awards, which is an annual thing. And I know a number of Nigerian banks have been nominated and will feature prominently at the event tonight, 7 or 8 p.m. Local time here.
Well, Bosun, let's still talk a little bit more about it. Although I know tomorrow when we're going to have this conversation, it's actually what's going to dominate. You know, because we know that there are 8 contenders for the position of president of the FDB. Now, what feelers are you actually getting? Does it look like it will go in the favor of Nigeria?
I think yes, you need a new president for the EFDB, but there are bigger pictures here to talk about, Harriet. Yes, the elections will come and go. Someone has to lead the institution moving forward. There are a lot of challenges across Africa that need to be fixed. So whether a Nigerian candidate gets the position of someone else from any other, from other 8 countries pushing forward their delegates will be something very different. But there are critical issues across in Africa: agriculture, medium and small enterprises, finance and infrastructure, healthcare, the Ebola crisis, climate change, and sorting out the bond market, in a number, including gender equality, if you want to put it that way. So we're quite a basket of discussions going on here, and I think the elections of who succeeds Kaberuka is just one item being done behind it.
Well, we seem to have lost connection there with Bosun. Bosun Wafa is Channel's business news editor. He's actually in Abidjan, the Côte d'Ivoire capital, for the annual AFDB meeting. He's just been giving us updates on what's actually going to be expected for today. There's going to be a lot of talk on agribusiness, of course, a lot of focus on gender equality, as well as the MSMEs, which are the drivers of the economy. Africa continues to be in the spotlight. This is the haven for investment, and so a lot of attention is on Africa and, of course, on Nigeria in particular. We hope to speak to Bosun later on in the day on the afternoon show, Business Incorporated, so you can tune in to get more updates on what's actually happening at the meeting in the AFDB meeting in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, or you can follow us at Biz Morning to keep up to date with what's happening there. But that's the program for today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Harriet Agbini. Bye-bye.